Hello guys, in today's video we're gonna be explaining all of Yu-Gi-Oh's monsters, the Link, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and even the Retro monsters, so make sure to stay tuned. First we're gonna be taking a look at the monster. When you first look at the monster card, you're gonna be seeing the name, and next to the name you're gonna be seeing the attributes of the card. There are 7 attributes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark, light, fire, water, wind, earth, and divine. Aside from the divine attributes that's only given to 5 monsters, there are mainly 6 attributes in Yu-Gi-Oh! The card we're gonna be looking at today is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's a fire attribute monster. Each attribute has its own unique support and that card that supports that attribute and work with it. So the attributes are important in Yu-Gi-Oh! Down from the attributes you're gonna be seeing the level of the card, and it's determined by the stars it has. Ash Blossom does have 3 stars, so it's a level 3. A card can have from 1 star to 12 stars, so from level 1 to level 12. Each level has its own unique supports and cards that work with it, like you can special summon any level 1 monster directly from your deck with 1 for 1, or search any level 4 monster directly from your deck with a mathematical inversion, and so on and so on. And the level of the monster also indicates that it can be normal summoned without tribute, or it has to be actually tribute summon. A monster with the level of 1 to 4 can be normal summoned without tributing, and a monster between level 5 and 6 has to actually tribute summon 1 monster to normal summon it, and the level 7 or higher has to tribute 2 monsters to normal summon it. Down from the levels of the monster, you're gonna be seeing the artwork of the card. Down from the artwork, you're gonna be seeing the type of the monster. Ash Blossom is a zombie type effect monster. There are mainly 25 types in Yu-Gi-Oh! You're gonna be seeing them in the screen right now. And each type has its own unique supports and cards dedicated to supporting it. A zombie monster can be sent directly to the graveyard by Gizuki, and can be special summoned from the graveyard by Mizuki. Now let's return to Ash Blossom. You're gonna be seeing right to the type, there is a subtype. It's a tuner. There are 6 subtypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they are Gemini, Spirit, Flip monsters, Tuners, Union, and Twin monsters. These subtypes are Konami's way of making archetypes back in the day, and help them make supports for that archetype that's not broken, and give them freedom, but they abandoned the idea very quickly, and they never did it again. And the archetypes begin in the name of the card, not the subtype of the card. And down to the types of the card, you're gonna be seeing the effect of the card. The effect can be differs from 1 line of text to 100 line of text. And now we are done with the main deck monsters. Let's move on to the extra deck monsters. Let's start off with the fusion monsters first. Fusion monsters are a special kind of monsters that are in the extra deck. You can special summon them from the extra deck by having the required materials. As you can see in the screen, you have to actually have the required fusion monsters, like Dark Paladin requires a Dark Magician and Buster Blader to actually fusion summon it. And by having the spell card Polymerization, you can actually fusion summon them, or by many of the fusion spell cards. There are other ways to actually special summon the fusion monsters, and they are by contact summon. It's known as contact summon, and that's by, as you can see, the Gladiator Beast monster, it has to actually shuffle the monsters on the field back into the deck to special summon it, and you don't need the polymerization. And there is the Phantom of Bell fusion monster that can shuffle monsters back into the deck from the hand, field, and the graveyard. And the other kind of fusion monsters are the masked fusion monsters that does not require polymerization, requires the mask change quick play spell, and the hero monster to tribute the hero monster and special summon it with the 1 card fusion summon. You can recognize the fusion monsters by their purple icon. And now let's move on to the synchro monsters. How to actually special summon a synchro monsters. First of all, you're gonna be needing a tuner and a non-tuner, and you're going to be adding the level of the tuner and the non-tuner to equal the level of the synchro monsters you want to actually synchro summon it to. And then you're going to be sending them to the graveyard to actually perform a synchro summon. The mechanic is very simple, but Konami made it harder by adding synchro monsters that acquire synchro tuner monsters and non-tuner synchro monsters to actually synchro summon. Like the card you're seeing in the screen, Stardust Silver Dragon. So the way to actually synchro summon it, you're gonna be needing again tuner synchro monsters and 2 non-tuner synchro monsters to actually synchro summon it. So basically you're gonna be requiring 6 materials worth of monsters to actually synchro summon it. And that's it for the synchro monsters. The mechanic is very simple, just get a tuner, add a non-tuner, add the level of the monsters, and that's it. And now we move on to the Xyz monsters. Xyz monsters are much simpler to summon. You're just gonna be needing 2 monsters of the same level, slap them on top of each other, and then you can actually summon the card. Some Xyz monsters require more than 2 materials, some requires 5, 4, but basically mostly all of them requires 2. The monsters under the Xyz monster are called materials, and Xyz monsters can use the materials to do some effects, like Zodiac Trident for example can detach one Xyz material to target one card in the field and destroy it. There are some Xyz monsters that can special summon themselves on top of another Xyz monsters, like Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer, Divine Arsenal Double A Zeus Sky Thunder, Kashtira Rise Heart, and the entire Zodiac archetype. They can only special summon themselves if they trigger some kind of condition, like Zeus. If an Xyz monster is battled that turn, they can be summoned into any Xyz monster. Rise Heart can special summon itself if Kashira Shangri-La activates its effect during the turn. PS, it can special summon itself on top of any Kashira monsters, not just Shangri-La. Lancer can special summon itself on top any rank 5 or 6 monster. And that's it for the Xyz monsters. The mechanic of the Xyz summon is just very simple. I think it's much simpler than the fusion and synchro monsters. And now to the most complicated mechanic, the pendulum monster. Unlike the synchro Xyz and fusion monsters, pendulum monsters reside in the deck, not the extra deck. When you look at the pendulum monster, you're gonna be seeing right under the artwork there is a new effect. There is a new effect space, and in the right and left side you're gonna be seeing the pendulum scale of the monster. Pendulum monsters have a unique mechanic, and that is you can place them face up on the rightmost and leftmost spell/trap zone. They're gonna be treated as pendulum scales and also a cartoonist spell card. And their effect is going to be the effect in this tiny space, and they're gonna be getting their pendulum scales. The pendulum scales are used to actually do a pendulum summon. And they are different from the level of the monsters. They are not related to the level of the monsters. Each pendulum monster has its own pendulum skill. Do a pendulum summon. First you're gonna be needing a pendulum. How to do a pendulum summon? First you're gonna be needing a high skill and a low skill. You're gonna be placing them in the pendulum zone and count the level from them. And count. Let's just say like you have a low skill of 1 and a high skill of 8. With that you're gonna be able to actually special summon any monster from level 2 to level 7. You cannot special summon monsters with the same skill of the monster. So you cannot special summon a level 8 monster if you have a skill of an 8. And that's not the only thing unique about them. If a pendulum monster is sent from the field to the graveyard, it will go into the extra deck face up instead, and can be special summoned from the extra deck using a pendulum summon. So if you have the required materials on the field, so if you have a low skill and a high skill, and it meets its level, it can be special summoned from the extra deck to an extra monster zone or a zone a link monster points to. I'm gonna be talking about link monsters in a second. And this is not it for the pendulum monsters. Pendulum monsters can also be fusion, synchro, Xyz, and ritual monsters. Each one of them has an effect to actually place themselves in the pendulum scale when they are destroyed. The fusion, synchro, Xyz monsters are. The ritual monsters also. The ritual monster can actually place itself because it's in the main deck. And the pendulum Xyz monster does have an effect to allow you to pendulum summon it if you have the required pendulum skills to actually pendulum summon a monster with its same level. So if it's a rank 7 monster and you have the skills to actually special summon a level 7 monster, you can actually special summon it and treat it as a level 7. This is if you are wondering how to actually pendulum summon a rank 7 because it's a rank not a level monster. This is how you do it. I did not talk about the effect of the pendulum monster because every pendulum monster does have a different effect, so I'm not gonna be talking about them. And now let's move on to link monsters. To link summon a link monster, you're gonna be needing a monster. Some link monsters require effect monsters, normal monsters, fire, water, wind, machine, based on the type, based on the attribute and the type, but the main thing you're gonna be requiring is a monster. Link monsters also have unique things based on them, and that is the link rating of the monster. The link rating resembles the acquired materials to actually link summon the monster. A link 1 monster requires only 1 monster, a link 2 requires 2 monsters, a link 3 requires 3, and so on and so on. You can only special summon a link monster to an extra monster zone or a zone a link monster points to. There are some things about the link monsters. If a link monster is pointing to a monster, both monsters going to be linked. If a link monster is pointing to another link monsters and the arrows meet each other like this in the screen, they are gonna be called co-linked monsters. Some link monsters does require a monster to be linked to them or calling to them to actually trigger some extra effects, like the Nightmare link monsters. They allow you to actually draw a card when their effect is deactivated if they are calling to a monster. If the arrows of the link monsters points to each other in a way that points to the other extra monster zone, you can actually link summon a monster to that other extra monster zone, and that's going to be called extra link. And if you don't have any arrows pointed upwards, your opponent cannot special summon a link monster because it has to actually go to the extra monster zone. And now let's return to the link rating of the monsters. As I said before, the link rating resembles the monster's required material, so a link 3 monsters requires 3 monsters to actually special summon it. But you can actually go around this by a little bit, so let's take Promethean Princess. It requires 2 plus effect monsters and she's a link 3. With the 2 plus effect monsters, she can actually just take 2 monsters. Let's just say this, if you have a link 2 monsters like SP Little Knight and any 1 monsters, you can actually go into a link 3 monsters by combining the link rating of the SP she's a link 2 and any 1 monsters. You can actually go into a link 3 monster. And this is how usually people link climb a monster. You can actually go into a link 1, then go on link 2, then a link 2, and then any 1 monster go into link 3, a link 3, and any 1 monster go into a link 4, and so on and so on. And this is it for the link monsters. I did not want to go into a little bit of more details because I don't want the video to actually be too long, and this is just a brief explanation video. I thought this is the end, but I just remembered while I was editing the video there is one monster type I did not talk about, and it's ritual monsters. Ritual monsters are monsters in the main deck and they cannot be normal summoned / set and must be special summoned by ritual summoning them first. And to ritual summon a ritual monster, you have to actually have a ritual spell. And to ritual summon this Skull Guardian, for example, you have to actually have its own ritual spell card, Prayers of the Voiceless Voice. And by activating the ritual spell, you're gonna be having to actually tribute monsters from the hand and field whose combined level equal or exceeds the level of the monster you want to ritual summon. Some ritual spells uses monsters from the deck as materials, like advanced ritual art. Ritual monsters are pretty simple, just you need to actually have the ritual monsters, the ritual spell card, add monsters to actually tribute summon to ritual summon the monsters, and the level has to actually be combined or exceeds the monsters depending on the ritual spell. And that's it for the ritual monsters. This is going to be the end of the video. If you have any ideas for future videos, leave them down in the comment, and make sure to subscribe and like the video. Bye.